the regulation is lower. It allows us to get to market without having to go through the lengthy process of permitting, basically. The other eight pioneers that we have, it's smaller units like this shed-sized structures that are classified as shed, so no or minimal permitting. That's for the go-to-market. We are currently working with the NRC and a few organizations to get our material into the book, so to speak, into the building code. We have a precedent, like building houses with panels is not necessarily a new thing, it's just our panels are way better. So there are standards for fire testing, for structural integrity, for water tightness, etc. And we know we meet all of those, it's just a matter of testing and getting the approval. Like we've taken, for example, I have a picture now, but we've taken a flamethrower and like torched this and nothing happened because it's fire resistant.
So what is your end goal market, I guess? Is it urban areas, or is it more rural? Is it third world countries? Like, where do you see yourself commercializing if you...
Starting with rural, because that's still 20% of all housing market, which is about 200 billion of houses. Houses are expensive. And then eventually we will be building in urban areas as well. More, not condos, but ADUs, garden suites, single-family homes, duplexes. The actual product, it would just, as you can see from the drawing, it's just put more Lego pieces together equals a bigger house.
Pretty cool, very cool. Congrats on building this. So, one question: there's a lot of parts, right? So you got like sewage in a box, you got vacuum walls, you got a lot of proprietary parts. What do you think is the first thing that will break down? How will you fix it, especially when so you can rebuild trust?
Yes. So everything is modular. So unlike a septic tank that's in the ground, where you have to dig it up and it's very complex to repair. If something breaks, we can just swap it out, like a light bulb, right? So we designed with that in mind because we know things unfortunately will break. What's going to break is going to be the active part first. So active being a building doesn't move, right? Like the beams or the panels, those are the least likely. Doors are, to be honest, we're not innovating on doors. We're just buying really good doors. So we trust the manufacturer that we have. More likely than not, it will be something like the bioreactor, where it could be user error. It could be our own design. We haven't considered people pouring a lot of orange juices or like ate something not good.
A lot of different things.
Yes, yeah. So we do expect those, which is why we're going with 8 pioneers first to see how it works in the market, essentially.
And who's like the buyer, right? So like I've been to the north, like there's such a desperate need for housing. Okay, but let's picky.
Yeah.
But like here in Montreal, like it's hard for me to simply want to buy like different boxes. Like this, it's tough, right? Especially like people want they want more than one toilet. Well, you can put a box for that, but they want a toilet with water and like.
It has water. So from a user perspective, the toilet is just it's exactly the same. It's just what happens afterwards, which nobody thinks about. That's going to be different. So it goes into a big box bioreactor, but it comes out clean. So dirty in, clean out, and you just see a normal, cushiony, clean toilet.
And how would this succeed? Like prefab, there's been a lot of prefab companies, the startups, etc. They've had a hard time getting traction.
Exactly.
So why would this succeed?
First thing is current prefab, mostly, like I mentioned, they use a similar technology. They're just building inside a building, but then as they have to move that giant thing down the highway, which is expensive, and then they have to crane it in, which is also expensive. So ultimately, it's not much cheaper than traditional. So there's an economic reason, and then there's also I guess it's also economical, but basically, you have a large amount of fixed costs for having a giant factory, right? And construction is very cyclical through the economy, and because we're fabless, we don't have that capex.
What are the cons or the downside of your technology?
Customer perception for now. It's
Apart from that,
yes. It is cheaper, it is faster, it is greener. I'm just thinking out loud. I've been pitching to customers, so really downside. Yeah, we can't do a circle right now. Like curves. No, we can't do curves right now. It's mostly, you know, more angular shapes. That would be one. Yeah, we spend most of our days thinking about how we can, like, I'm, if I'm here, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the ceiling, so like we spend our day thinking about what's wrong with the curtain houses and trying to make it better. And so, if there is something that's not good, like we probably would have thought about it. I'm sure our customers do have constructive feedback for us, which is why again we're delivering that first batch and learning from them. The first units, obviously, the first units will have a lot of small detailed issues, obviously, that we will need to fix manually. They're not fully it's not a fully automated mass production, fully automated construction, right, without hiccup yet.
So, Oliver,
Yes.
I don't know if you remember me.
Yes.
But you seem to have nailed marketing, because I reached out, I was searching on the internet for something of the sort, and this is last year, and you applied very quickly, and it seemed to me that you have the marketing machine down. You figured out how to test the demand, you have it, but it's been a year, and I haven't heard back from you, and I don't know where the product is and when I can get it, so are you really in a position right now to deliver? Where is it being manufactured? Could you deliver it next month?
So we're delivering eight. We're delivering eight next. We're delivering eight next. Well, this summer essentially. I was just in Toronto this morning to unload parts for these 8 units. So that's coming up. The specific product you're interested in, which is the bioreactor on its own, we might not. I mean, we might still sell it to you, but we might not. we might not sell it to the broad public because it's a bit like, if you have autopilot, you don't want to sell the autopilot to everyone.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not about me and my desire to purchase your product. Although I have to know, like, when
we have a deal after.
When are you ready to sell 9, 10, 12, 20?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that you're doing 8 this summer.
Yeah.
But is the challenge for you ramping up production?
No, because we're fabless, we already have those 12 suppliers, and we actually have about 30 in backup, and all of them can build, and a lot of them are in Asia currently. In Asia, like
in Asia. So you're manufacturing in Asia.
Yeah.
Okay, shipping by boat, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not the.
Sorry, China.
I mean, the long term. It's more of a like scalability and speed question. Like we are planning to eventually have microfactories and more localized for building these. We've designed this to be very simple. The wall is like it's a one-step process. You have all the things in a mold, and then you inject the foam, and then you have one piece with all the functions I mentioned.
Oliver, what's the ask, and how is this venture, like, why do you think this is venture scale?
It's venture scale because, venture scale because construction is a very large market. We are the only one who can really service not only like Montreal or Toronto or like a small geography, because our structures are flat packed. We can go everywhere. So we are going from the Arctic all the way to California in our 8 Pioneer units. So we can actually serve that whole market of construction, and we can scale very quickly because of that fabless approach. We were able to scale without having to put capex in factories.
So did I miss an ask, like on your time frame, or like what you're?
Yes, it wasn't on the slide.
Okay.
So we'll be raising $2 million later this year after we deliver the units to essentially beef up our certifications. We have in the last 3 months, we've already gotten $1 million of sales in our pipeline for the next units, which is larger units. There's a resort of 10 units. There's a 2-bedroom at 100K. There's another Arctic, the next step of the Arctic project. So, and for those, to your point about permitting, we can't not have permitting forever, right? We need to invest into actually doing those fire tests, water tests, etc. And so that will require more time and money for us. We'll also be working with local jurisdictions to provide like engineering drawings and whatnot, and those things all take time and money to advance to that next step.
And in the next steps, is there like it looks relatively autonomous? So is there like a thought of integrating solar,
Yes.
and then that way it all is kind of a self-contained
It
unit?
has solar. I
mean-
just didn't want to list 10 features that we
Okay.
have.
And it might get back to
solar.
the grid, etc.
You can get back to the grid, but you don't have to, which is how you can actually have this entire thing in. Right now it's about 2 weeks, but eventually in 48 hours, anywhere you like order your sheets on Amazon, and then you order our house at the same time, and everything gets delivered. You move in 2 days. You have solar because we don't need to
For like
connect
chalet
to it.
markets, like this is perfect
Yes.
for that kind
Yeah,
of market.
exactly. For like the resort, cost them 50 to 100K for the slightly larger unit, and the revenue per year at like $150 a night is going to be 50K. So their ROI is in the 50% to 100% on this.
Thank you so much. So this is the end of Startup